Hello, my friends. This is Angie Stewart from Miami Inner Light, and I'm here today via Kardec Radio giving a lecture to our brothers and sisters from Inner Enlightenment in Manhattan. I just want to see if you can hear me. Fred, can you confirm if you can hear? Good. Good. So I guess I am live. Is it correct? Well, so my friends, hello again. This is Angie Stewart from Miami Inner Light, and I'm here via Kardec Radio giving a special lecture to our brothers and sisters from Inner Enlightenment in Manhattan, New York. So I'm very excited to be here, and I think it's a great opportunity to all of us to talk about very important subject, especially in this tough moment of coronavirus afflicting the whole planet. So I just want to let you know this is the first time I'm using this system called Be Live. So we were struggling to be able to show the slides I had prepared and also my camera. So we are gonna manage something. Unfortunately, I cannot show the slides the way I wanted because I wanted to show the slides in a way that I could have a surprise effect. But unfortunately, it's not going to work. So I will try to do my best. This is the first time I'm using the system. Unfortunately, I do not see any comments. So I guess this is different. But Fred said we are live. So if you are watching it right now, or if you're going to watch it later, so I just want to invite you for a quick prayer because I cannot start a lecture without a prayer. I know Fred said, you don't worry, but I worry. So I just want to invite all of you to close your eyes for a brief second, and then we can start together, okay? Dear God, beloved Master Jesus, at this moment we are here online. We would like to ask our guardian angel, the spiritual benefactors of Inner Enlightenment, of Kardec Radio, of Miami Inner Light, to help all of us to be able to talk and to be able to understand the message will be brought here to us tonight. Please stay with us, protecting and guarding. Thank you so much. So be it. Okay, very good. So let's go. First of all, I'm super excited to be here with you. I miss you so much, New York. I miss you so much, my brothers and sisters from Inner Enlightenment. You have no idea how hard it was to be without you, and it is still nowadays very hard to be without you, physically speaking. But now, in the time of coronavirus, we are all learning how to, how to deal with the social distancing that's important for our own protection. So let's start talking about the theme of today, and I will be doing this connection with what we are living. So we are going to talk about the spirituality in the time of a crisis. It's very important for us to understand why our planet is going like in a convulsion. It's difficult to most of the people. But we spiritists, we have this important obligation to be able to understand what's going on. I think we just lost my lecture. I guess. Well, you know, as being me, we could never have a normal lecture without some kind of an issue happening. So let me see if I can make it happen again. Can you see my slide? Be prepared. It will be full of emotions tonight. Full of emotions for sure. So I see he. Oh, I see some people. Wow. Hello, Matthew, Saul, Yara, Elizabeth, and Claudia. Can you please confirm you're seeing my screen? I hope so. I lost Fred. Fred was connected, and I lost Fred. So I see a bunch of hellos, hellos, hellos. But can you guys see my screen? I think so. I think so. So I will continue because our time is limited, and I prepared a long lecture that I really would like to go through all the details with you. So nobody's answering anything. I hope something went wrong with the schedule broadcast. Guys, is anyone here? Can you see me? Yes. Oh, good. Good. That's what I wanted. Okay. So let's go. Be prepared for strong emotions because when you are with me, everything happens in a lecture. Okay, so as you can see, the first slide, I wrote atonements and evolution. So this is what we are going through right now. We are going through atonements in order to evolve. So our planet is evolving and we are evolving too. And why you have to go through such a turmoil? It's difficult for us. But let's go through and I will try to understand, to explain a little bit. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to show the slides, talk about everything, and I will not be able to see you guys, to see myself, and to read the screen. But I will leave my phone here, and Fred will be here. So if anyone needs anything, you just let me know. Okay, so let's go. Hold on, let me just put it here. See you guys, and Fred will be here. So if anyone needs, sorry for all the confusion. It's the first time we are doing this, so I'm very new to the system. I'm learning with you guys. So let's start sharing only my screen, okay? So let's hope you can see on my screen. Ta-da! I hope you're seeing this. So I just changed the slides. I hope you can see that. And so right now, wow, it seems it's showing just a partial. Uh-oh. Okay, it's not working. Not working. Okay, so let's go manually. So what, can you at least see like this? I think. So I went back to the old way that you can see my full screen. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is really our, yes, no, yes, yes. What I wanted to have three main people that they were the basis for us, for our formation and in faith, for example, if we can say that. So the first one was Moses. So Moses, he was reincarnated, he was incarnated around 1300 years before Jesus Christ. So you imagine more than 3,000 years ago. And in that time, we were living at the same time, and we were very brute spirits. We were very tough spirits. So in order for Moses to be able to help us to obey certain rules, the minimum rules, he had to give to us a God of fear, because we would not be able to understand anything different. So had to be this God of fear. So we were afraid of it, so we were able to respect it. But time passed, Jesus came, and Jesus was able to give us a God of love. He was able to show us the same God of Moses was the God he was talking about, but was a loving God, a forgiving God, a God that was going to take care of us as a mother and father, a loving mother and father. But even like this, we were not able to understand. So more time passed, and then came Kardec. And then Kardec didn't show us any different God, but he taught us how to understand God's laws. That's why Kardec was helped by the very, very enlightened spirits in order to be able to teach us that there were so many things we couldn't understand in the time of Moses, in the time of Jesus, and still in the time of Kardec, we cannot understand. And you imagine, Kardec was in the 1800s. We are in 2020, and we still cannot understand or accept many things the spirits brought to us through Kardec. So, in this beautiful book, Evolution in Two Words by the spirit of André Luiz, in this book, André Luiz tells us that Jesus is the governor of the planet Earth. So it's not that someone just said, oh, Jesus is the governor. No, in this book, he describes everything. And we start understanding why Jesus cared so much for us, because he governs the whole planet. He took this planet and he created this home for us, and then he brought the spirits to live in the planet. So he is really our bigger brother, the one that helps us so much with our evolutionary process. And then Jesus said, do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God, trust also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, John. So his first sentences here, do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust also in me. We can bring this to the situation we are living right now with the coronavirus. A lot of people are giving in desperation, are really forgetting about God, are forgetting about faith, are eating news about horrible things, news that sometimes are actually fake. They are not even real. People are spreading fake news like insanity. People that are not even doctors or nurses or in the medical field send these videos that go and on and on and on about very bad things. So we, at these moments of crisis, moments of difficulties, we have to exercise the power of a prayer. We have to believe in God. We have to understand that God is our mother and father, and Jesus is our big brother, and nothing happens by a chance. So if this is going on with us right now, there is a point that we don't understand why, but something is there for us to understand, for us to think about. I will talk about also the social distancing that for me is so difficult. The ones that know me well, they know that I absolutely love groups. I love to be connected with many people. So when we have to be really far apart, it's very difficult for me. But it's a beautiful opportunity for all of us to reflect about many things in our lives, in our country, but in our planet too. So many things that we really didn't pay much attention before, and nowadays are so important. You know, you remember when you go to with your friends to a restaurant, and when you arrive there, everybody on the cell phone, everybody like talking. You are sitting here, and everybody's on the phone. So nowadays we actually want to go to people because we only can be on the phone. So you give value for things that you were not used to. Like some friends of mine that are mothers, and they used to complain so much of the schools and so much of the parents or the teachers, and now they are full time in the house with the kids. And some of them actually tried to homeschool the kids, and they couldn't. So they were like, wow, I didn't know it would be so super difficult. And they are trying to do this with one kid, two kids. Imagine a teacher with 20, sometimes more. So it's a time for us to reflect on many points. So let's continue. So here, I just wanted to show you the simplicity of our solar system. A solar system, very simple. And in Jesus' sentence, in my Father's house are many rooms, you can interpret these rooms are many planets. And there are many planets. And if we continue going on, in that time we didn't know, we couldn't see, we looked at the sky and we couldn't even understand what was that little dots. But the little dots, the brighter dots, they were stars, they were planets, and we couldn't discover. But then science evolved, thank God. And then in that when the telescope Hubble was created, as you can see there in 1990, then a new light came because we could discover billions of planets, billions of stars, systems that we never imagined. So we couldn't see the big picture, but we also, in that time, you couldn't see the little picture, the microscope, to see whatever is walking here, and we don't know. The virus is invisible and is almost everywhere. We cannot see it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. This is food for thought. So the spirits, they explain there are many spheres regarding the vibration around the planets, not just the physical one. So this brings us to the idea that whenever we will be able to travel to another planet, hoping we are going to physically meet someone, we might not meet, because the life there might be in a different vibration, in a different way. So we will not be able to see. But it does not mean that it does not have life there. There is life there. If a God created, there is life, because God never creates anything without a purpose. There is a purpose, and there must be life there. So let's move on. I'm so upset I can't show the slides the way I wanted. I created some cool things that I wanted to interact with you guys and ask questions, but unfortunately it's not working. I see you guys are here. At least this is good. So let's go. These are the two main books for us, you know, the Spirit's book and the Gospel according to Spiritism. And then we have that these are the classification, the phases, the words they go through. So the first type of planets are the primitive ones. So the planet Earth was a primitive planet, and it was destined to receive the first incarnations of human spirits. But the planet Earth is not a primitive spirit anymore. So we are not even tests and atonements anymore. Tests and atonements, we were. At this moment, we are a regeneration planet. But the difference is we just started the regeneration planet. Imagine a human being has 100 years. Imagine how many billions years has a planet. So we just started a few years as a regeneration. This is why the enlightened spirits tell us that we will be feeling for a long time exactly as the tests and atonements. So we are going to go through the same situation like an inferior world where the spirits have to incarnate to pass by tests and atonements in order to evolve. And in the spirits book and the gospel, we have Earth was a planet. There is actually written Earth is, because these books were written in 1850. So Earth, I wrote, was a planet of tests and atonements, and here you will feel pain and suffering. Pain is different than suffering. It's different. I'm going to explain this later on. So we have that regeneration, where Earth will be fully a regeneration planet one day. It will be where there will be some happiness and pain, but no more suffering and atonements. The spirits are overcoming their tests to continue progressing. This is beautiful. There is hope. There is hope for us. And one day we will be able to inhabit the other two types of planets. They are the blissful worlds, the goodness overcomes evil, and the celestial or divine worlds, where the pure spirits live and where there is only goodness. So this is like one day we will be able to be there too. So I hope this video will work. Let me just try to put it here. It's a 1 minute video. I really would like you guys could see it. Let's see. Go. What's going on? Nothing works. Can you see it? Can you hear it? I don't think you can hear it. But I'm going to tell you about while the video is going on. It's only 1 minute. This shows our beautiful planet evolving, how it was created, everything, little by little, the small organisms, and then they became the gigantic ones with the dinosaurs and the plants. It's so beautiful when you see life in this amazing way. And when you think about how perfect everything is, and then you think God is so perfect because everything was created in perfection. When you see the animals, when you see the animals that the birds, when you see the animals of the earth, when you see the fish, everything is so perfect when we see us. And when you see the evolution of a man, and you see how we evolved so much from caveman to nowadays. And nowadays we are so evolved that we were able to create this amazing technology, this technology that we are here. I am in Miami in my house, and you are there in a computer somewhere, and we are able to connect. So this is such a blessing for all of us. 20 years ago, when I moved to the United States, we didn't have this. And I remember, to be able to talk to my mother and father, I had to buy calling cards, and they were expensive. And we were like looking for to be able to hear the voice of someone that you love. Nowadays, you know, we evolved so much that you can FaceTime, you can do a computer like we are doing now. So we are evolving. We are constantly evolving in intelligence and also in morality. But as the spirits tell us, morality always go a little bit slower, and we have to improve it. So in this book, The Consoler, by the Spirit of Emmanuel, he gives us the difference, what is test and what is atonement. So I'm upset that you are saying everything because I wanted to interact a little bit with you. But Emmanuel tells us the test is the struggle that teaches the rebellious and lazy disciple the road of work and spiritual edification. And the atonement is actually the penalty imposed upon a wrongdoer who commits a crime. So test is really like you study something, and now you have to do the test to prove that you were able to understand the lesson. And atonement is you did something wrong in the past, your conscience keeps that there, and you think it's hidden, but it keeps inside of you, and one day your conscience will come, and then you will desire to be able to go through some kind of a mistake you imposed to somebody else. So then we have here that the tests prove that a lesson was learned. That's exactly what I said. And the test could be the test of poverty, beauty, power. They are difficult tests, but they are important. And they can be also voluntary. So it's not necessary that you have to go through, but you can ask to go through, so you can actually evolve faster when you demonstrate that you were able to go through. And atonement is a test connected to our past life errors imposed by our conscience. So living a similar pain, we learn to repair the error. So this is the difference of tests and atonements. And I want to talk more about this. So I have a few more slides to talk about it so we can understand it a little bit deeper. So the types of atonements. We can have an individual atonement or a group. So individual, there are so many examples, but we can talk about an incurable disease. We can talk about blindness or a kid being orphaned. This is an individual type of atonement. And group atonement. Well, as you can think about the coronavirus, we are actually living a group atonement right now. But examples are earthquakes, airplane accidents, buildings on fire, and usually group errors to redeem, to continue their evolvement process. So here in this point, I want to give you a personal example. Let me see my time, 7:30. So my personal example, I was 10 years old and I was studying in a federal school in Brazil. And I had a geography teacher that her hand was plastic. We kids didn't pay much attention because she used the long sleeves. But then we started like kind of looking that was super hot. We didn't even have a fan in our classroom. And this teacher always had long sleeves. And you know, as always, there are kids that are not very easy. And they started putting names on the teacher, doing things that were not the most friendly ones, as you can imagine, misbehaving kids. And then one day, someone told me, do you remember the teacher? I was already in the next grade. And someone said, do you remember the geography teacher? And I said, yes, of course. And then this friend told me, well, I discovered that she lost part of her arm because she was on a fire on a circus with her family. And her family died, but she was the only one who survived, but she lost her arm. So that for me was very shocking. Wow, I was like, oh my God, she lost her family. And as a child, she even had to endure losing her arm. And we kids, not me, but some mischievous boys were nicknaming her of things, and it's such a painful suffering. The time passed, I became spiritist, and one day Divaldo Franco, a very famous medium from Brazil, told the story that Chico Xavier, another famous medium, told him. He said the story was like this: in the that circus that was actually in Niterói, Rio, every person that perished in that day in the circus, they were how can I say, resgatando, they were enduring a collective, a group atonement. They acquired together in the time of the first Christians, because they were Romans that were participating of the burning of the first Christians. So they acquired that group atonement, and many of them had already went over that situation. I will explain to you later on. It's not because we have something in our conscience, something, an atonement, that we will have to go through it. No, you don't need obligationally go to it, but for you to be able to don't pass through the same thing you imposed to someone, you enjoyed. In the case of them, they did not impose the burnings, but they enjoyed going to the circus and seeing the Christians dying burned. So this is the type of group atonement, and there is a big difference between the physical and the spiritual point of view. So the physical point of view, it's for us. It's very difficult for us to see a situation like this. It's very painful to understand an airplane crashed and a lot of people die. It's very painful for us. It's very difficult also when you have a loved one that is on bed for a long time, suffering, and the doctors say they can't do anything. So you are going through pain because you love that person, for example, and the person is not getting better. And then the person dies, the person cross over, go to the spiritual realm. So in the physical point of view, we are still in pain and suffering. But by the spiritual point of view, that person is free. That person who was suffering and you love so much now is free of that situation, of that pain. And yes, I understand we all want to be as much as we can with our loved ones. But for us that believe in life after death, it's very important to learn how to let go when it's necessary. So this is the case, the difference between physical and spiritual point of view. Then we have this beautiful book of Leon Denis. If you have the opportunity, Leon Denis has many books now that are translated to English, and they are all super, super interesting. And in this book, he talks about the difference of a pain and pleasure. He explains they are extreme sensations, but because of these extreme sensations, they actually help us to build our spiritual education. It's an interesting, very interesting book. And we have to know also that only with faith and resignation we will be able to develop patience to wait for better times. So nothing better than this right now. I believe we are all having to develop our patience, because most of us are really locked in our houses, in our apartments, with this social distancing. And we have to understand that God is the creator, and he, she, God is the one who has reasons for that. So because we don't understand and we cannot understand, we have to do our part. I will talk about this in a few minutes, that we have to do our part in order to improve too. So here, I wanted to be a little bit funny for you guys, but I couldn't. At least take a look at the pictures. So here you can see the difference between pain and suffering. So pain, it's very good to feel pain. It's the mechanisms of preservation of life. It's not negative. It's actually very helpful. If you put your finger on something that's extremely hot and you did not have the sensations to feel that you are burning, you would actually lose your finger. And there is a disease that actually makes a person not to have sensations. So it's extremely dangerous. It's not that the person don't feel pain, that the destruction is happening. No, the person don't feel pain, but it is being destroyed. So this is a wake-up call. You remove your finger to protect yourself. But suffering is different. Suffering is the pathological state of why me? That's when we go through the process of pain. That's normal. And we become the why me? Why me? Why only I am the only person in the world that burns the finger? Why? Everything bad only happens to me. And then we have to understand that whatever we say is powerful. So when you say negative things, especially when you talk negative things about yourself, you are actually attracting negative vibrations, negative thoughts, negative ideas towards yourself. So we have to be very careful with whatever we say and whatever we do, because we don't want to be the whining. We don't want to be that one like, oh, everything happens to me, like coronavirus. Some people, the why me's, they call me, oh, everything bad always happened to me, so I'm just waiting when I'm going to get this coronavirus. What? You can't think like this. You are the first person that you have to vibrate positiveness. We have to understand our world is always in a turmoil. And we are the ones who have to try to help others, and starting with ourselves. I started a few days ago a chain of prayers at the 10 p.m. I invited all my neighbors. I also posted on Facebook, because it's not difficult. We just need to have discipline, like the Spirit of Emmanuel told us, discipline, discipline, and discipline. So if we want to help ourselves and the others through prayers, and I invited neighbors that are not religious, so I told them you can do a vibration, you can do even a moment of silence, 1 minute only at 10 p.m. So put in your calendar, put in your phone. You are with the phone all the time. You even go to the bathroom with the phone. So put in your phone. Wherever you are at 10 p.m., stop whatever you are doing. Close your eyes and do a prayer, or elevate your thoughts to God or to high energy. Like people tell me they believe in the higher energy. Elevate your thoughts to the higher energy and ask for faith, for hope, for better times. We can't be asking also like, God, please help me not to get sick, or God, please finish with this coronavirus because we want to go back to our lives. This is not the best prayer, because I believe whatever happens in our planet, it's for us to learn something. So we need to get lessons from it. And I believe this is a moment for us really to meditate, to think about how we were living our lives. How can I improve when this finish? Because this will finish. We know it will finish. It shall pass. We don't know when, but it shall pass. We know many scientists around the world are developing different types of vaccines, and it will happen. But until then, we have to help ourselves, our family, our friends, with hope and positiveness. The first thing we have to do is to stop, quit right now of sharing horrible videos. I know in the beginning, even I did, because I didn't think it was horrible. They were horrible videos. I thought they were informative videos. But later on, I saw that there was not more information. It's impossible. We spend 24 hours a day with coronavirus virus information, and then it becomes toxic. It becomes toxic. We don't need it anymore. So refrain yourself from this type of things. If you receive, try not to pass to others. Cut this chain. Let's do a chain of positiveness. Today I received a video that was hilarious. Unfortunately, I couldn't post on Facebook because now, because of music, it's not gonna be, they are gonna cut it. But they were three old men, absolutely adorable, doing the choreography of Thriller of Michael Jackson. That video was such a boost of energy that I was just like, oh, it made my day. It made me smile. And that's what we need. We need to smile. We need to give value to what we have right now. Yes, we are in our homes. Maybe we don't have a job. Maybe we don't have enough money for next month. And then you start getting desperate. Try not to think of that right now. Try to think about the first Christians of the past, that they had to cross the desert and there were no cities. There were not even like highways. They have to cross walking, or whenever they had the money, on a camel. And they didn't have enough provisions to the whole trip. So they trusted in God, that God will provide. And they provided. They were always helped somehow. And of course, they also did their part. They are not like sitting in the desert, oh God, where is the food? Was not like that. So take this time to start thinking about your life too. Take this time to start thinking, okay, after this, what can I do to change my situation? In a positive way. Connect with people that have your same vibration of positiveness. If you know someone that's always down and thinking negative, remember, you are the one who has to help the person, not to ask for help. Think about it. And here we go to the consequences of pain and suffering. So pain helps us to reflect on our problems, to be closer to God, and even to be more compassionate. Because if we are suffering, imagine others who have, if we're going through pain, imagine others who have conditions much inferior than us. They are really, really struggling. So this is a time for us to be more compassionate with others. And what brings suffering? So suffering brings revolt, hatred, self-pity. So suffering, it's not good. Let's stop saying, oh, I am suffering. Say, I am in pain right now, but it shall pass. And look at here. Pain in life is inevitable. Inevitable. It's inevitable. We will all go through pain earlier or later. But we have to be Zen, saying suffering is optional. So I am in pain, but I'm not suffering. And the tears do not replace my sweat. At least it never did in me. When I just cry, I'm in the same situation. This was Chico Xavier telling us. Chico Xavier, the human being more compassionate that I ever imagined. And he said that to help us to go through our pain. So, oh, sorry, I'm jumping slides here because I can't show it as a normal lecture. But I promise you I will learn. And next time I will be able to do it in in a much better way. So here I also wanted to play with you guys. In the beginning, when I told you, oh, so we have to go through our atonements, but we can change our atonements. But to be able to change our atonements, it's not like, oh, okay, I want to change. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to go through this very difficult pain that I provoked to someone else. It's not like that. So in the book Heaven and Hell, we understand that only after these 3 phases you will be able to change your atonement. So you need repentance, that's awakening of your conscience. When you realize that, for example, let's imagine in this lifetime, in this reincarnation, let's imagine when you were a child, you hated cats and you enjoyed killing cats. Let's imagine you enjoyed throwing stones. Very sad, but unfortunately there are some people like this. But then when you became an adult, you understood that what you did was horrible, because maybe you met someone that was extremely compassionate and in love with animals and taught you to give value to these little beings that God created to be our little companions. And then your conscience woke up to that and you felt guilty. You felt bad about what you did. So you had this awaken. And the second phase is the atonement. So you felt the pain you imposed. You imposed in these innocent animals. And then comes the third part, the reparation. The reparation is when you have to repair this. You have to pay it back with love. But then let's imagine you became an animal advocate. You created causes to help animals. You volunteer to help animals. You really take animals that you find on the street suffering, you bring to your home, you find adoption homes. So this shows the 3 phases, shows that you really changed. You were able to not go through an atonement with that part. And in some spiritist books, we see that the people that were extremely cruel to animals, maybe in the next reincarnation, they will die through an animal. A case of a man, a woman is swimming on the beach with hundreds of people, and suddenly a shark comes and boom, bites only him. I'm not saying that every single person that dies because of a shark is going through an atonement. I'm saying it is possible. But we also know there are thousands of different perspectives and different types of atonements. We can never say this happened because of that. Only very good mediums, they are able to have this type of understanding, because they are able to connect with the spiritual guides of spirits that are able to tell them what happened. But let's not start thinking, let's not connect with curiosity. Oh, so that did because of that, because sometimes it's not like that. This was just an example. This other book, Self-Recovery, from Joanna de Angelis, tells something very similar for us to understand. So Joanna teaches us to repeat an experience until we do it right in 3 ways to live life. Constructing, ou seja, so I said in Portuguese. So constructing is when you live a life in a positive way. You evolve by love. It's natural with you to do good to others. The second way is destroying, that person that spends their lifetime doing wrong things and not learning with it. And then the third way is reconstructing. So reconstructing is when you are repairing your mistakes from the past. It's almost like you have a reincarnation to go through things that you did, and you spent time in the spiritual realm learning, 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 and now you came, boom, and you're putting everything to work, and you're working so hard. So when you are able to do this, then your mistakes will be cleared. So these are two ways that we can understand how we can clear our atonements. So let's go back to the Roman circles. So maybe some of the people that were enjoying to see the Christians being burned, they were not they did not need to go through this painful atonement.